You'll find high-quality food and unique eating experiences with dishes from around the world. Just visit eatlocalminnesota.com for your next meal. Crooner Supper Club invites you to Maggie's Lounge, an exciting new bar lounge. It's open Wednesdays through Sundays beginning at 4:30 for cocktails and light fare. And you don't need a ticket to enjoy the great atmosphere of Maggie's. So stop by Crooner Supper Club off Moore Lake and Highway 65 for dinner, drinks, and live music from both big-name local and national artists. Cafe Latte combines a cafe dining experience with gourmet quality food. Plus, you can still do online ordering and takeout along with gift cards. Just go to cafelatte.com and choose from their ever-changing selection of award-winning salads, sandwiches, and soups. Cafe Latte is located off Victoria and Grand and online at cafelatte.com.
Would you let animals pick your insurance? Do you really need to experience mayhem to get the best rates? Or how about a celebrity quarterback or fake university saving you money? There's a lot of marketing stunts when it comes to insurance, but what you really need is someone looking out for you. Call Array Insurance, and they will work hard to find you the best insurance coverage and rates. So avoid gimmicks and call Cheryl at Array, 763-504-3067 or arrayinsurance.com. Array Insurance, working hard for you.
Is your remote workforce putting your company at risk? Cyber criminals are targeting your employees with COVID-19 inspired emails and attacking businesses like yours. Hi, Mark Sommerfeld from Rymark. Rymark has the tools and expertise to enable your employees to work securely from home. If you need help getting your staff to work remotely and securely, call 651-328-8900 or go to rymarkit.com. That's 651-328-8900 or rymarkit.com.
Hey, Cudahy to all my friends and relatives in four directions. This is Robert Pilot of Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake. I'm here to ask you for your support. Finding honest Native-centered news is not easy. But with your support, we're able to provide accurate information about Standing Rock, Line 3, treaty violations, and COVID-19 in our Native communities. Please visit Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon and donate if you can. That's Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon. Pinigigi, and thank you for your support.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for cloudy skies tonight with a low around 18, Thursday partly sunny with a high near 28, and Friday cloudy with a high around 34. Eat Local Minnesota is a great way to find locally owned restaurants and food purveyors. They feature high-quality food and unique eating experiences for your next meal. Some of those restaurants include Cafe Latte and Scotch Mama's Hot Barbecue. Find a full list of all of our restaurants and food purveyors at eatlocalminnesota.com.
Portions of Native Roots Radio may be pre-recorded.
It's a good day to be indigenous.
Get up, stand up.
They are going to become more brutal.
Couldn't cut, any cut again.
Because all the hippies were trying to be Indians anyway.
They're going to become more repressive because it's a matter of dollars and their illusionary concepts of power.
Hey, Victor.
We must live in balance with the earth.
And also with recent happenings at Wounded Knee.
I am awake.
Welcome to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Wakanja Hade, which means distant thunder. Hey, Cudahy to all my friends and relatives in four directions. You are listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Robert Pilot, and we discuss local and national Native news and events. And as you know, Haley, Native issues are human issues, and human issues are Native issues.
You are right, Dega. This portion of the show is supported by Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon, supporting honest Native news, stories, and events from Natives themselves. Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon.
Hey, we got an awesome show here, and Haley's overdoing her work. She's got a really good guest lined up here, and and I'm excited to talk to Willard Malebear Jr., who's an artist and founder and CEO of United Theory Collective, and I'm really excited to talk about his story and what he's doing for the community. And it's funny, Haley, we talked a little bit before the show, and it's like so many people in our Native community here, and especially here in the Twin Cities, because we know so many people, they wear so many hats.
Right.
And it's really, and Willard does too. So it was just really fun that you pointed that out, because yeah, a lot of these doers do a lot of things.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, it is just such a funny thing. I feel like so many people are doing really great, amazing work all over in different types of things. But I first found Willard as his tattoo artist, his tattoo work. So yeah, I'm excited to get and pick his brain a little bit. I know he took over running the 38+2 Dakota Memorial Run and the ride. So I'm excited to hear how that went this year.
Yeah, definitely. And I was a little under weather, so I wasn't able to make it to Mankato. And but we're excited to have him on. And also, before we talk a little bit about some birthdays in hockey, we're not going to be saying this much more, but guess what time of year it is?
I know. Well, it's time to get your health insurance in check. And if you're looking for the right plan for you, head over and talk to our friends at MNsure. That's MNsure.org. They'll help you find the most affordable and best plan that fits your needs. MNsure.org.
Yeah, right on. Hey, whose birthday is it? I feel like singing the birthday song, but you're too young to know that song. But it's happy, happy birthday to every girl and boy. Hope this very special day brings you lots of joy. So that's been in that whole song. I know the whole song, and that's been burned in my memory from a kids show that was on 7 years. Casey Jones here in the Twin Cities, and that's the birthday club song. And they used to mess with Casey too. They'd put names up there, and excuse me, he'd be saying like Haley Cherry, happy birthday to Haley Cherry, and I don't know, or Zoe Cherry.
Yeah, there you go.
And they'd throw in there Rusty Nail, and he'd say happy birthday to Rusty Nail, and it was like he'd start laughing, and then he wouldn't get through the names. So I don't know if he had a few little shots during the show or what, but they were always messing with them.
Yeah, well, we do our birthday shout outs on the show. We try to remember all of our friends and our relatives. So sorry if we might have forgotten to give you a birthday shout out. But speaking of Willard, it is Willard's birthday today. So happy birthday, Willard Malebear. And also it's my Jaji, my dad's birthday. So big happy birthday to both of them.
Yeah, definitely. And how old is your dad?
That's a great question.
You get to know your father, Haley. We're not around forever. These are questions you need to ask when the fire's at the fireplace or you're around the
Yeah. No, I think he might be 54. It's not 55.
You could lie to me. I don't think
I think it's 54.
I don't think.
Well, you guys are 10 years apart, so.
Really?
So what would that be?
52 then, because I'm only 62.
Oh. Okay, so yeah, maybe that's not right either.
Oh my god. Maybe
but anyways,
show over here. Oh no, we're
the hockey.
We're live.
We've got women's hockey on.
Yeah, I know you're pumped, and I'm pumped too to hear about that. Another professional league and another women's professional league, which is even exciting. They'll be on Valley Sports, and also the games that aren't on Valley Sports, they'll be streaming live on YouTube. And there's some native hockey players that we got to get on the show.
I know. Unfortunately, I didn't see any. I don't think any that are native players that play for Minnesota right now, but there are 4 that are playing across the league. I believe there's the original 6 teams right now. So Jamie Lee Rattray is Metis. She plays for Boston. We've got Abby Roque, which is Wanapete First Nation. She's on the Team New York. Jocelyn Lekarake is Metis. She's on Toronto. And Victoria Bach is plays for Toronto as well, and she's Mohawks of the Bay.
Wow, that's cool. Well, we'll have to get them on and talk about them because I know I saw a news piece about that, and the young girls are excited, and that's really cool to hear. And for sure, women's hockey has come such a long way since I was watching it 30 years ago. I had some students that were playing in the St. Paul League here, and I'd go watch their game, and wow, it's really changed, and it's really, really exciting game. So we'll have to get them as a sponsor, but also reach out to some of these players and celebrate their achievements and being a professional hockey player.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I know that there's a lot of Olympic players. I think we have probably 4 on our team. I would maybe double check that. But yeah, some of the girls, I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Kelly Panic, or actually Taylor Heisey was Minnesota's overall draft pick. Taylor Heisey is coming out of the U of M. She played for the Gophers. I actually filmed a couple of the Gophers women's hockey games at my time at the U. So it's just amazing to kind of see these girls come full circle and kind of get up to the professional level. And I'm really excited. This is huge. As a kid, I never saw women's professional hockey, being a thing. And I think that kind of dampened a lot of young girls' dreams on, what to do in the sport after college. But this is a huge game changer.
How many teams are there?
I think there's original 6 right now.
Okay. That's cool. Yeah. So what cities are they in?
Yeah. Well, I know we got New York, Minnesota, Toronto. That's a great question.
Well, we'll have to get them on and ask them, or use that G thing, the Google.
The G. Yeah. Well, what's crazy too is that when they announced that, the women we're going to have a professional league, they just announced this in the past spring. So it's been a tight schedule to get everything, whether that's jerseys, picking out the jersey colors, getting your captains, getting a team together. It's just amazing. And I'm excited to see what each team picks as their team name, because they haven't picked them yet.
Right. Oh, wow. That's they haven't picked their names. Wow. That's cool. I have to figure that out. I think it's interesting too. And we talk about Native issues are human issues, and human issues are Native issues. And I think I always tell the lieutenant governor, it's great, especially when I was teaching, it was great for my students to see somebody that looks like them, and that, in that role, being lieutenant governor, the highest Native American elected official in the country. But also, I think too, in being in hockey, and the young girls being able to see that not only is there a future, but there are role models for them.
Yeah, great point. I agree completely. So yeah, catch the girls, Minnesota's first game, playing Boston at 6 p.m. today.
Oh, you said that with a Boston accent. That was cool. I saw what you did there.
Thank you.
All right. Hey, this is Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and we'll be right back after this short break. What should they do, Haley?
Stay with us.
Yeah. I heard sex trafficking happens a lot in Indian country. What is that?
Here are some of the real reasons why sex trafficking happens in Indian country. Unequal gender roles that were forced on us by colonization. Communities don't have enough resources. Silence around domestic and sexual violence. Lack of attention and justice for missing and murdered Indigenous people. There's a lot of behavior that keeps our communities out of balance. These are just a few true reasons why Native communities are targeted by traffickers. When these acts of violence happen in our communities, it opens us all up for exploitation.
Sponsored by the Minnesota Indian Women's Sexual Assault Coalition.
Hi, I'm Claudia with MNsure, Minnesota's official health insurance marketplace. With MNsure, you can compare health plans from multiple companies and get free help from a trusted expert. Whatever health plan you choose with MNsure, it's guaranteed to cover essential benefits, so you can get the care you need. See if you qualify for discounts, available only through MNsure. If you need quality comprehensive health insurance, get started now at MNsure.org.
As we pack away the ornaments and bid farewell to the holiday season, it's time to unwrap the gift that keeps on giving, getting protected by a COVID-19 vaccination. This is your chance to make a difference, especially as our Native communities face higher COVID numbers. Those higher numbers underscore the need for collective action. So answer the call and get vaccinated. The latest vaccines are not just authorized, but they're proven effective against the current variants. This is extra protection, even if you've already had previous vaccines, since previous vaccines will eventually wear off. Plus, the new shots are FDA approved for ages 6 months and up. A COVID vaccine is not just a shot. It's a pledge to safeguard the wisdom and stories handed down by our elders. So join the movement, get vaccinated, and make 2024 the healthiest year ever securing a brighter future for our Native community. For more information, including details about clinics offering free vaccines, visit vaccines.gov.
Anine, I'm Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan, and you are listening to Native Roots Radio.
And we're back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is supported by Native American Community Development Institute, or NACD, in Minneapolis.
I sounded like an alien there introducing the show. Hey, we have Willard Malebear on, and he is artist, founder, and CEO of United Theory Collective, among many things too, but also it's his birthday today. And I don't know if Hayden and I should break out and start singing happy birthday, but maybe we should see how the interview goes first, and then we'll sing happy birthday at the end, if it goes well. Hey, hey, Willard, thanks so much for coming on, really. And I've been reading what you've been doing for artists and watching your story, and I really appreciate you coming on and sharing your story and what you're doing in Minneapolis, and also, the 38+2 run, and you're a tattoo artist. So there's a lot of things to celebrate and talk to you about. I want to just welcome you to Native Roots Radio.
Hi, how's it going? Yeah, it's an honor to be here. It's definitely my birthday. It feels like it isn't my birthday. I actually just finished a tattoo about 2 minutes ago and had someone else put the bandage on for me. And I was like, just leave the money on the desk. I got to run over here real quick. And then flew over here like right at 5:15, went to pull it up on my MacBook. And of course it wasn't supported by Safari. So downloaded Chrome real quick, and here we are.
Wow. Thank you so much. Hey, you have a compelling story about United Theory Collective. I wonder if you mind sharing that with our audience all over Turtle Island.
Yeah. So I think the beginning of the story kind of starts about 7 years ago when I was in active drug use, and really, like, besides family, the only things that were like keeping me moving forward was art. So like even when I was using and stuff and in active addiction, art was always sort of like this, life preserver in my existence. And I feel like when I got incarcerated, art quickly became like my only support for myself. And like it gave me an identity and sort of just it was like my biggest tool for wellness and self-confidence. And it kind of just rebuilt the structure that I needed as a person. And, while I was incarcerated, I was able to be an art tutor and do artwork for the staff of the prisons and for the Commissioner of Corrections. I ended up doing the Challenge Incarceration program, where I was able to do the boot camp and be released early. And I was able to be released 2.5 years early. But while I was in the boot camp program, the staff there were really supportive of, art and supported me going back to school and doing art. And during, that time in boot camp, I was able to paint murals. And I remember being in, the prison and painting on the walls and just being like, this is the best moment of my life, this is amazing. Even though I'm in prison and, who knows what's going to happen in the next couple of years, this moment right now creating is such my beacon of hope and my guiding light. And, during that time also, I was able to go to an EP and sweat every weekend inside of the boot camp prison. And so culture really started being my other foundation. And I started having a healthy relationship with my family. And, when I was released from incarceration, I had made a commitment when I was first incarcerated 2.5 years prior to be sober and do good and to just be committed to being an artist. And when I was released, I was able to do art with people. And, I went to college and I was able to sell some artwork. And, I just could really identify that like art and creativity was like needed in like the wellness community and in like people coming out of incarceration, and people just needed access to art supplies and art materials. Because when I was released from prison, I was blessed enough to have family and friends that like gave me art supplies and sort of like, supported me as an artist. But like while I was in prison and right when I got released, just talking to my peers of being like, hey, art is for everyone. We could all do this, and just kind of telling them what art was doing for me. And they were just like, well, I don't know how to do art. And there is, it's super hard to like get into the artist community as someone that just is like, is curious about it and doesn't really have an art background. And, it was that first couple months that were being released when I was really like recognizing like, creativity is super needed in this community. And, I ended up going back into tattooing, and during like, maybe like my second year of being released from prison, like my mom passed away. And then that first couple months, my dad actually passed away. And I was doing a lot of culture stuff. And after my mom passed away, I was, I had a newborn son, but I was like, just going through the ups and downs of, being a father and losing my last parents, and just trying to do as much art as I could. And tattooing at the time just felt like it was more of like a job, but I was still like in the recovery community. And I started doing these like guided paintings and illustrations for the recovery community as these like creative events with like my friend Aubrey. And, together we were doing these little pop-up events and really working with like organizations and businesses in the recovery community. And I started being like, I think we could do this in a space like as a business and somehow like enable creativity in the community while also still being like, wellness and recovery focused. And we kind of identified this like need in the community for something like that. And, I was fortunate enough to have some close friends that were willing to take like a financial business risk on me and sort of like what I was passionate about. And they're like, we will help get you into a tattoo shop, and we'll help you open up this, art interaction with the community space. And at the time it didn't have a name. And we just knew that, we found this building. I can kind of give you a quick little peek around. We found this space, and, it's pretty big, but we ended up, occupying this space. This is the art center. Right next door is the tattoo shop. And, the tattoo shop was something I was familiar with the industry. So there wasn't much like guesswork there, but with like the Unified Theory Collective, it was like, what are we going to do here? Like, how are we going to make this like not only profitable, but like work? Because in the beginning it was like, do we make it a nonprofit? And I had no experience in nonprofits. And at that point, I also had no experience in for-profits, but it came down to this idea loosely based off the internet, where we sort of like sell at our space as an advertising platform to businesses. And then we take those like, advertising and marketing money and fuel art supplies for the community. So it's like the community comes in and uses or has pay what you can access to like art materials, essentially free, because they don't, if they're in a position where they can't afford to pay anything, then, those are the people that we want to come, and, generally the offset would be the people that can afford it would pay, and whatever was in between, the businesses like that are giving us money to have their logos on the wall, we use that money to offset the difference there. And that was the idea of it. And that's kind of, how we opened it, was just sort of this like, art supplies for advertisement. And some of the larger members of the collective, they get like creative events for their businesses. So, we just try to make it work so that way people could have access to art materials and have an art space to just come and use whenever they need, and being, a new business owner, I had no idea how to make it work, and I'm still learning it every day. You know what I mean? So it's
Well, heck, Haley and I need to come down there and get applique tattoos on our arm for our family. We're Ho-Chunk and we do the applique, and it's always good for us as Native Americans to have another Native American artist do our tattoos. I feel like, you being in recovery, you're really giving it away to keep it. And that's kind of a saying we have in recovery. I've been sober almost 40 years now. And in order to stay sober and to stay sane and clean, you have to give it away. And wow, you are giving it away. I'm amazed by your story, right, Haley?
Oh, absolutely. I guess I never really knew about like a free community art studio where they kind of supplied those resources and made it like an open environment where people who maybe feel like they, aren't good creating art, or, like you said, they've never done it, they can come into this space and be surrounded by others in the same position and kind of be uplifted. And I think on your website too, here it says creativity equals wellness. And I completely agree with that.
Yeah. And it's been brought up recently that, we aren't to replace like professional help for forms of wellness, but more or less, as something for people that, aren't maybe ready to make that jump to professional help, but would, like to escape some of the smaller symptoms of, social crisis with doodling. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Hey, we're with Willard Malebear, and he's artist, founder, and CEO of Unified Theory Collective in Minneapolis. And we have more questions. And wow, this is what we like to talk about here on Native Roots Radio. And we'd like to amplify great work. And we're going to have more questions and more fun with Willard because it's his birthday. And we'll be right back after this short break. Minnesota has the only original wolf population in the continental United States.
And 80% of Minnesotans believe the wolf should be protected.
Howling for Wolves is asking Minnesotans to respect our true wildlife manager, the wolf.
Their survival is critical to our ecosystems, our communities, and even our economy.
As highly intelligent animals with strong social bonds, Minnesota wolves deserve to be protected and admired.
Learn more at howlingforwolves.org. Let's live and let howl.
Hi, I'm Claudia with MinSure, Minnesota's official health insurance marketplace. With MinSure, you can compare health plans from multiple companies and get free help from a trusted expert. Whatever health plan you choose with MinSure, it's guaranteed to cover essential benefits, so you can get the care you need. See if you qualify for discounts, available only through MinSure. If you need quality, comprehensive health insurance, get started now at minsure.org.
Hey, if you're like a lot of people, you're probably relieved that the holiday celebrations are over. But there's one thing that might stay with us from the holidays besides all those gifts, and that's COVID-19. Numbers from COVID are going up as we spend more time inside. And Native Americans are seeing even bigger case spikes. With all the indoor celebrations over the holidays, you may have unknowingly been exposed to someone with COVID-19. That's why it's important to stay vigilant. If you notice any symptoms like a fever, a tickle in the throat, or heavy fatigue, take an at-home test. They're still free and can be ordered at sayyeshometest.org. If you do test positive, you're eligible for free treatment, and no health insurance is required. Visit health.state.mn.us to connect with providers and receive your treatment. Let's make 2024 the healthiest year ever, securing a brighter future for our Native community.
1 year ago, I was in the accident which nearly killed me. The last year has been a lot of work recovering, and positivity has been a key. Staying positive, I no longer refer to the accident as an accident, but rather the day my Toyota Sienna from Rudy Luther Toyota saved my life. That's a factual statement, and the main reason why I'll always own one for the rest of my life. Some places will talk about auto safety, but I'm a living example of why you and your family can trust a Toyota from Rudy Luther Toyota. Go test drive one today and try the hybrids. They're fantastic. Rudy Luther Toyota on 394 in Golden Valley. Thanks to everyone who's continued to support AM 950. Good news, the AM 950 2024 calendar is ready to go, featuring photos I took around Minnesota and important progressive dates. Members that sign up with a one-time $25 membership will receive a 2024 AM 950 calendar as a thank you. Make a one-time $50 or $100 donation. You'll get the AM 950 calendar and the brand new AM 950 tote bag as a thank you. Go to am950radio.com for all the details on the membership. That's am950radio.com. Thank you so much for supporting AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for cloudy skies tonight with a low around 18, Thursday partly sunny with a high near 28, and Friday cloudy with a high around 34.
Get the appliances you've been dreaming of for less at Warner Stellian's year-end clearance. Shop closeouts, scratch and dent, and floor models. Plus, buy more to save more. Take 10% off 2 red tags and 15% off 3 at Warner Stellian's year-end clearance.
Hi, I'm Jane Fonda, and you're listening to Native Roots Radio.
And we're back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is supported by JS Bean Factory off Randolph Avenue in St. Paul. Only the good stuff keeps us awake.
Oh boy, are we awake. Hey, we are here with Willard Malebear, and he's artist and founder and CEO of Unified Theory Collective. And it's his birthday. And, I have a few questions for you, and really, really happy that you're on, Willard. And what great work. I'm wondering, first of all, I want to let all our people know, because we have people in Wisconsin, and we're on Wisconsin and Iowa and the Dakotas too, along in the Minnesota. Let people know where a Unified Theory Collective is and what the hours are and how we can get a hold of you.
Yeah, we are located in South Minneapolis. It's 1415 West 35th Street. In Uptown Minneapolis. We're actually open Wednesday through Friday, 3 to 8 p.m. And then the weekends we're open noon to 8 p.m. And like I said, attached to the art center is my tattoo shop, Iktomi Tattoo, which is it's literally the door right next to it. They share a bathroom. It's a great space. We got a lot of great artists there too.
Well, we'll have to come by, and I know I can perfect my stickmen, my native stickmen, and start painting them. When did you realize you were an artist, Willard? Was it prior to being incarcerated, or you did it in school and then really did it in prison and started really thinking about your future?
Yeah. I think when I was about 4 or 5 years old, I remember being at my grandparents' house in Iowa, and I was playing in like their front patio area, and there was this like scribble drawing on the wall, and it had all these like little shapes made in the scribbles, and each one of them was colored in different. And I remember being like, that's awesome. What is that? And my mom came in and she was like, I drew that in college. And I remember just like my mind being blown. I was like, my mom made this. And I was like, Mom, show me how to make this. And she was like, oh, for sure. And we like sat down and we just like scribbled. And then she showed me how to like color in each one different. And I remember that was the first time I ever did art. And I remember that was it. From then on, it was just like, this is cool. Like you can make stuff and it's like, you get to keep it. And it's like a thing. I don't know. I was always just super fascinated by that. And, ever since then, I feel like I just nerded out on art, and, we moved around a lot. So it was like, sometimes when we'd move, I didn't have like friends, but I always had art supplies and like my mom, you know what I mean? And we just did art. And I feel like once I was in like 6th grade, I had just like doodled so much that it was like I was the doodler in class. And then by like 7th grade, it was like, oh, you're the artist in class. And then, it just kind of stuck with it. And even throughout like all my, early 20s and stuff, like I skateboarded a lot, but I was always like an artist. And I feel like, I ended up getting an opportunity to be a tattoo artist when I was 23 here in Minneapolis, and took advantage of that. And that went great for like 2 years. But in that first 2 years, I got exposed to drugs and just big city, tattoo artist stuff, and being like a little city art skateboarder, it all went to my head and it just got out of control. You know what I mean? It was too much.
Definitely. So here's an off question. Do you still skateboard?
Yeah. We got a skateboard in here. Actually, we got 3 skateboards inside the art center. We just cruise around. It's like, you know, one of the luxuries of being the owner is you can skateboard inside your own business.
That's right. Well, my Ojibwe son-in-law is still skateboarding at 43, and so I know it's an awesome community in the cities, and a lot of good things happen too, and with the skateboarders in that community. Can you talk a little bit about the 38+2? I know this year for me, I missed it because I had COVID, so I wasn't able to go to Fort Snelling and go to Mankato like I have in the past years. I understand that you're going to be taking that over.
Yeah. My relationship with the run has always been, you know, so like my mom, my dad separated when I was young, and my dad would always talk about the run and my mom would always talk about the run. And I remember it especially because my mom was always like, you know, your dad started it the year you were born. And, you know, she would tell me about like how he had a vision, and like the Owens family kind of helped my dad interpret the vision. And they all kind of came together because they realized that they were all being called to like, you know, do this run to honor the Dakota 38+2. And so like I remember hearing that much of the story, but I unfortunately wasn't like raised around my culture. And when I moved to Minneapolis when I was 21 and I lived with my dad, I didn't know anyone here. Well, you know, we would go to the run. We went to the run that first year, and I think Dallas Goldtooth was running it that year. And, you know, I was able to start the run and, you know, carried the staff a little bit. But by that point, I was already like, not in a good way. You know what I mean? And so I ran across the bridge and I handed the staff off and I was just cooked, couldn't run anymore. And, you know, I ended up partying and just like, you know, knowing that you can't go to ceremony unless you're like clean, you know what I mean? And so like, that was always like my excuse. I would find a reason not to have anything to do with it. And then, you know, that would always break my dad's heart. But like, you know, we grew apart, like me and culture for a while. And then when I got out of, you know, prison this most recent time, you know, when I was in prison doing boot camp, I was running a lot. And I had like communicated with my dad while he was still alive that, you know, I wanted to do the run. And when I got out, you know, I was in contact with Shoshoka, the organizer. That first year I had COVID and I couldn't go. And that next year we didn't do it. Oh no, that first year they didn't do the run because of COVID. And then the year after that, when I was like ready to do it, I got COVID and couldn't do it. And then, you know, last year I was able to do the run, started the run and co-organized it and ended the run because Shoshoka had said, you know, I think it's, you know, it feels like you're the next generation. You should take over this run. It just feels like it's your turn. And, you know, if you can accept that commitment, you know what I mean? You make that commitment to create or to do this run for the people. So I, you know, I was honored to, you know, take that on. And, you know, like I'm super transparent about like, you know, I'm just learning culture. I'm just starting to like make a commitment to learning the language and, you know, but, you know, I'm honored to be in that position for my community. And, you know, it's super emotional to like be there with like Austin Owen and, you know, thinking about my dad and thinking about like his dad and his family. And it's like, you know, to be able to like be in a good way on the red road and be, you know, able to, you know, carry on the run, you know what I mean? And just think about like my dad and my mom and stuff. It just sometimes it seems like a movie, but it seems so right that it's like, you know, I feel like I'm right where I should be in the universe when we do the run. And it feels really good to be there. And it's very powerful.
Last year it was really cold and snowy. I remember that. And this year would have been a good one for me. But again, I had COVID, so I wasn't going to go out. And I mean, Art Owen and all those cats that really led the way for us. And what's really good, Willard, too, is even though you may have been away from community for a while, you were always still Native, and you're coming back strong. And sometimes you have to take 2 steps back to take 3 forward. And I commend you. And we need young warriors like you.
Thank you. Yeah, it's sometimes it seems surreal, like, I just talked to my parole agent today and she was like, hey, I saw you on the news and, just so you know, like, we're all super proud of you and you're doing good. And it's just like, 7 years ago, I never would have thought that was going to be me ever, before I made the commitment to sobriety and, being an artist, like I feel like I was just as equally committed to being a criminal and just living the renegade life. And, to be here today and to be able to like represent my family and to be a part of culture is just amazing. And, I try to tell people all the time, it doesn't take anything more than a real commitment and patience to start seeing, all these promises of sobriety come true.
Well, it's interesting. When I was in early recovery, I remember a person at one of those 12-step meetings that I still go to told me, he said somebody came up to him and he was a very successful businessman and had like 17 years of sobriety at the time, which I thought was a million years. And he said that somebody told me that, when people sober up, they just are unbelievable and they can do anything they put their mind to it. And he told me that he was dumb enough to believe him, and he handed that story to me because I think once we put the plug in the jug and are clear-minded, we can do anything. And you're a great example of that. And just giving it away to the community, I just have really good feelings for you and your recovery and what you're doing. And it's fun being an urban Indian too. There's so many of us running around here in the Twin Cities.
Yeah, for sure. No, it's a great community again. And I'm just so thankful to be healthy enough to enjoy it and be here, be present.
Right on. Willard, we only got a couple minutes left, and what I'd love you to be able to do is just tell everybody how and where your tattoo business, and then also how we can find you and United Theory Collective, and just give a quick plug again.
Yeah, both the tattoo shop and the art center, Unified Theory Collective, are located in South Minneapolis, at 1415 West 35th Street. And that's in Uptown. It's like right off of Hennepin down in South Minneapolis, kind of by the lake. And, the tattoo shop is Iktomi Tattoo. It's actually in honor of my dad. My dad always identified as like spider spirit and was definitely a trickster. And it's always fun, telling people that knew my dad the name of the tattoo shop, because it's just iconically perfect. He was hardly serious sometimes, but the Unified Theory Collective, where we share the building, and would love to see anyone come through at any time. We're always welcome. Like, even if the art center is not open, you can come into the tattoo shop and just hang out and enjoy the space.
Well, Haley and I will be there, and we have to get that family applique a tattoo. So my Hinu will be down there, and my wife, and so we're gonna be coming down there and bugging you and getting a nice applique tattoo. Really, really appreciate you coming on, Willard. It's always great to celebrate a great story like yours, and happy birthday. Really, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I'm just getting ready to go see my 2-year-old and snuggle him. So
right on.
Thank you so much for having me on here. It was an honor. Very thankful. Thank you so much.
We'll do it again, Willard. We'll do it again. Gigi, thank you so much, and we'll see you soon. Wow, we'll be right back. This is Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and up next, Bob Blake from Red Lake with the Solar Bear with the Solar News. Ho!
As we age, it's important to invest in our health and to help protect it. Like the flu, COVID-19 is always changing. That's why it's important to stay up to date on your vaccines. By getting the flu and COVID-19 vaccines, you can renew your body's defenses and lower the risk of getting sick. Get your health boost and protect yourself against the flu and COVID-19. Find vaccines near you at vaccines.gov. That's vaccines.gov.
I'm Angela Warner with Warner Stellian. And if you know me, you know I love a good bargain, which is why I'm telling you about our year-end appliance clearance. Our stores are packed with red-tagged closeouts, scratch and dents, and floor model appliances priced to sell so we can make room for next year's models. And if you buy more now, you save more. Get an additional 10% off 2 red tags and 15% off 3. You'll still enjoy our famous free delivery by our trusted specialists. So hurry into your local Warner Selling to score a deal before they're gone.
Unveil the captivating world of native photography at the Minneapolis Institute of Art. Their new exhibit, In Our Hands, Native Photography 1890 to Now, turns the camera around and puts native photographers in control, featuring hundreds of photographs captured by generations of First Nations, Métis, Inuit, and Native Americans. You'll view the world through their lens, revealing the beauty and complexity of Indigenous heritage. Don't miss this incredible experience. Visit In Our Hands at the Minneapolis Institute of Art now through January 14th. For more info, visit artsmia.org.
J&S Bean Factory is a native-owned, community-supported, cozy, artsy coffee shop which offers roasted on-site beans, live music, and baked goods. Relax in the beautiful outside patio. City Pages writes, voted top 10 coffee shops. Tucked into a quiet corner of St. Paul's Highland Park neighborhood, this coffee shop roasts beans on-site from the best coffee-growing countries in the world. Located at 1518 Randolph Avenue, St. Paul. The good stuff.
You're listening to Native Roots Radio. This is Spirit from Reservation Dogs. Get up and listen.
Welcome back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is supported by Howling for Wolves, protecting wolves for future generations.
Hey, it's Wednesday, and we got Bob Blake from Red Lake. I always love saying that, but we got Robert Blake, a Solar Bear with the Solar News, checking in. Good to see you, Bob, and we just had an awesome guest. I don't know if you listened to it, but Willard was just unbelievable. And so you have a lot to live up to here in this last part.
Oh man, that's incredible. I'm sorry I missed it. He's a tattoo. He does tattoos.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I used to do security for the guys at Leviticus Tattoo Shop on Lake Street. I used to do they used to have these really big parties like for Halloween and New Year's Eve and all that stuff. And well, they would hire yours truly because I was the best in the business in the Twin Cities at the time. And
the most humble too.
Yeah. And we would bring in our crew, and it was always a really good time. Those guys at Leviticus actually threw the coolest parties though. I mean, they'd have like koi fish ponds and people walking around in outfits serving drink. I was crazy.
Hey, I see you got a new hat there. I can't wait to get one of those. Those look really sharp.
That is the Solar Bear. That is the Solar Bear hat. Hey, Robert. There is
Rebel Ink.
Actually, oh boy, what's the place called? I forgot what they're called right now.
Okay, tell me later.
Yeah. But I do have an announcement, Robert, that I have to make, and I have to invite you and Haley too. The Solar Bear has been asked to co-host an event for our very own Lieutenant Governor, a fundraiser event on January 30th. And so I'll get you the details, Mr. Pilot, but you are invited. Of course, Haley's invited, and whomever you guys want to bring. But this is to support our Lieutenant Governor and the wonderful work that she does for the state of Minnesota, and all that good stuff. So I'll get you the information, and you can post it, and anybody and all is welcome. And this is to donate to Lieutenant Governor and Peggy Flanagan and all the wonderful work that she does for all of us.
Right on. We'll be there. We I don't know if you saw pictures, but we were at the governor's mansion and got Christmas pictures with the governor and the lieutenant governor, Wendy and I, and Haley was there too, and just hanging out, with the gov. And so
right. Yeah.
We'd be glad.
Yeah, and so I'm sorry, everyone that's listening. I'm just not. I've never hosted a co-host or co-hosted a fundraiser. The Solar Bear doesn't do this kind of stuff, but apparently the Solar Bear will be doing this kind of stuff now.
Have cookies and crackers and cheese and I guess some wine for people
Well,
that
yeah,
to donate a lot of money.
Yeah, so it's going to be really. I guess it's going to be held right at the Midtown Exchange on top of in one of the penthouses there.
Oh,
And so that's like right where the natives food lab is, and so
yeah.
I'm thinking that's maybe who caters. I don't even know yet, so I don't even want to speak out of turn here. But anyways,
What time are you thinking we could maybe even do if it's during our show? We could do maybe a live show out there too.
yeah, let's do. Hey, let's do that. It's from 6 to 7:30. Maybe we could do the show beforehand, and then we could go right into the party. I don't know.
Yep.
And we
Yeah.
can have the lieutenant governor on. Okay, everybody. Everybody needs to listen. January 30th, we're gonna make this happen. This is how it works out for the Solar Bear.
There we go. We like hanging with the Solar Bears, so that good things happen to us too.
Congrats.
So I got a really good story here, Robert. And I think a lot of people kind of ask themselves like, hey, how do I get involved with the climate crisis? Or how do I get involved with like what's happening? How can I do something, right? I want to let everybody know right now, we're kind of on this theme right now about, we've been talking about the Lieutenant Governor Flanagan and all the great work she's doing for us. And, she's working with the state. Well, let me tell you something, Robert. The state of Minnesota is in a hiring mode right now. In their energy resources, the state's division of energy resources has added 64 new positions this year. Just this year, Robert, 64. Now, they want to add, they want to get close to 150. So that's about another 100 positions, 100 more Minnesotans that they want to hire that are going to be working on climate change, mitigation, adaptation strategies for the state of Minnesota, serving the citizens of the state. Because, Robert, and I know that this was the hottest year on record. Okay.
Yeah.
Going back 150,000 years, this is the hottest year on record. So, people, this is real. It's happening. Let's get our head wrapped around it. Okay. And let's do something about it. Okay. Let's not sit back and think somebody else is going to do it. Let's do something about it. So, that's the Solar Bears message here. And I think this is a wonderful opportunity for those of you out there that want to get involved, that want to do something tangible. And we're all doing it, right? We're all a part of the solution. But here's a really wonderful opportunity to work for the state of Minnesota. So go onto their website, check it out. Minnesota Department of Commerce, Division of Energy Resources. I believe this is Pete Wyckoff's division. I'm almost positive. I think this is Pete and those guys that are part of this, Lissa. And so, I think this is a really great job opportunity for those of you that want to get involved with, climate change and the solutions to help our community in our state.
Yeah, that is exciting news, and we're heading in the right direction. We got to move quicker, and I like your call to action. That's everybody that is listening can get involved and get involved because planet Earth is going to be here forever. It's us that are going to be fried up to shriveled little Indians here if the global warming keeps happening like it is.
Absolutely, Robert, and that's why I think it's really important that if that we vote, our politicians, and this goes from state to local to tribal, right? That we get climate champions such as yourself, Robert, that can speak for the people, that will create those policies, right? That will then implement, that then will be a catalyst for the change that we want to see, in the fight against climate change.
Absolutely. Hey, we only got like a minute left here in the show. Robert, how can people click on your website and kind of find out what you're doing and how they can support you and give your websites as a Native Son too?
Yeah, everyone. It's www.solarbear.earth. I should just say solarbear.earth. And it's nativesun.org. I'm still old school, Robert. I still say www. Like no one knows what the worldwide internet. But it's solarbear.earth. It's solarbear.org or nativesun.org, and you can go on there and you can see what we're doing. Robert, we're going to be doing some pressers because we're going to have about 10 electric vehicles that we're going to be delivering to the Red Lake community from this EV charging grant that we've been working on. So that's going to be coming out very shortly this month. And some more exciting things are happening.
I heard rumors you're only sending 9 up to Red Lake and 1 over here on Jefferson Avenue.
Yeah, you know what? We are actually sending 1 over here to Lake Street. You're exactly correct. but yeah. But that, Robert, is what's happening at January 30th, everyone. The Solar Bear with the Solar News and Native Roots Radio will be coming live to you from the Lieutenant Governor Flanagan's fundraiser.
Right on. Hey, Bob, thanks for stopping in. As always a positive, fresh breath of fresh air. Really appreciate you. Hey, if you're listening to the show, you're part of the resistance. We're still here. We are the 7th generation.
And free Leonard Peltier now.
The Park Tavern is your go-to destination for fun. Your friends and your family will have a great time.